morphing away from orange on word meanings. I've written a little about orange recently, even making a brief video on Mission to Planets Orange. Besides all of the deep political connections of red, it hasn't a particular philosophical superiority to orange. Even so, leaving orange aside for the time being, stopping any sort of digression to other colors, I shall reply to the question, what is it to see red, and where's the meaning of red? W.V.O. Quine's description of ontological relativity provides a way to express the idea of words as set elements with given values. Obviously, meanings occur within subjective human minds, each of which has its own potential for giving meanings to linguistic sets. Equally obvious is the point that there are many linguistic sets, and that many users share some sets. Also well known is the correlation between words and objects, even processes. Red changes its meaning within given sets and uses of word set elements. Not only does the perception of a portion of angstrom wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum, generally referred to as providing humans the experience of redness or change for itself in the empirical world with ambient light conditions and a number of other factors, the use of words and sets have meaning only with use, as does the experience of redness, because of their phenomenal relationship to experience. Since at least Bishop Berkeley, it has been understood that some qualities of perceptible reference are subjectively manifested, although stimulated by an external physicalist waveform. One might regard a given lexicon as points along a circle, 360 degrees, for some cardinal word structures and an infinite number of Eliatically divisible refined locations on the circle. Word locations on the wheel of meaning might have sublocations and extra dimensions toward the inner wheel and above and below its circumference. Like code wheels of embedded circles of larger and smaller sizes, some outer wheel words may be allowed to be conjugated with words of the inner wheel. It might be said that the physical relativity of words may have meanings regarding truth values too. If one is on the planet Mercury, it might be hot, yet if one is quantum entangled and relocated to Pluto, instantly breaking Einstein's faster than light speed limit, that statement would become untrue for oneself at Pluto. Experience and language values have a physical external coordinate component as well as subjective assignation of meaning. It is reasonable to connect and associate coordinate point locations upon the wheel of meaning, lexicon or coordinate reference system in whatever way one prefers, yet common constructions would have the most broadly understood meanings. Let us imagine a crude vocabulary of 200 words for the proto-human with several conjunctives and methods of structuring questions, phrases, meaningful noises for those that share the cave lingo. The vocabulary might be refined with thousands of more subtle words and word structures added on as adverbs or nouns. Everything is beautiful. Og recognizes red and associates it with blood of game kills and war. Perhaps being an unartistic cave dweller, he fails to see it in the last glimpses of the setting sun as meaningful. One day Og sees a brown log floating on a stream and jumps after a frog sitting upon it in quest of food. The swift stream takes Og aboard the log to a different cave-dwelling region where the dialect has only 100 points of concurrence of his linguistic set. Red in the cave village, too, means ochre, and the word ogre means potentate. Og, as a captive in village 2, learns the new language ontology, and all is hunky-dory. Red for Og has two meanings instead of one. The people recognize Og's knowledge of extra words and modes of travel. Rules are formalized that make laws of Og's fluency. Stream buffers on logging are required to keep fisheries from being destroyed, and Og's definition of red becomes predominant locally as it follows the lawgiver's tilt. When Og eventually puts to sea on a new, improved log, his vocabulary drifts too and increases. He develops many meanings of the word red, journeying through various cultures. He begins to classify his linguistic ontologies by number, and is aware that his knowledge of all of the meaning of different ontologies also corrupts his knowledge of the meaning of all the ontologies as the gestalt of word experience and subjective value is diluted and synthesized away from the single ontology users. Og becomes an existentialist poet. Discussing people who use different Discussing people use a different word from the word in its uses. The first is a more formal question about language use, and the second is any sample word or particle. One might equally well state that the meaning of football is how people use the word football. But people do not use the word football to mean how people use the word football. How then can the meaning of football be how people use the word football?